Security Halt podcast is proudly sponsored by Titan SARMS. Head to the episode description and check out Titan SARMS today. I love the idea that I can manage my life when in reality, I can't. Absolutely cannot. I need somebody to do it. If you're a remote worker from the Philippines, come on board.
Come on board.
Manage my Calendly and my calendar because clearly I can't.
Yeah. And all over the place.
Oh, dude. Josh, welcome to Security Halt podcast. How's it going, man?
You know, when you reached out to me on LinkedIn, I love doing these things. So, I wanted to say thanks for having me on. I love telling my story, but I think what I love most is the stuff we just talked about offline. I mean, it brings back memories. I mean, I was in Iraq 0304. So what is that? 20 something years ago. And it seems like just yesterday. I can still smell the diesel. When we talk about this kind of stuff. So no, honor to be on your show.
Absolutely. We might need to do some exposure therapy with diesel because I was right there for the longest time. I used to have a big old Dirty Max diesel truck, and every time I would get fuel, I would just get nostalgia, just huffing fumes. I'm like,
yeah, that's my happy space, man.
I don't think people understand it. Just pulling up to a gas station and overstaying your welcome in the lane for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, my wife's like, what in the fuck are you doing? Get back in the truck. Yeah.
Don't worry about me, woman. I'm feeling
Don't worry about me.
Pretending you got your fucking kid on.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking nipple just getting rock hard. Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
What condition is that weapon system in?
As I'm sitting here sipping tea. Yeah.
Green tea's got a lot of free radicals. It's really good for you.
Lemon ginger, but
dude, it does.
Fucking ground MRE coffee. Yeah. Rubbing that fucking hot sauce in your eye.
Yeah, everybody's wondering like what the toxic exposure was. I'm like, I'll tell you what it is. It's fucking the meals in the brown fucking bags that did eventually expire. Everybody I talked to was like, those are shelf stable. They'll never go bad. False. They will go bad. And
on TikTok, people actually pay for those things. I'm like, if I had cases, you could have them because I sure as fuck ain't eating them anymore. So,
oh, dude, we got set out in the middle of nowhere, Iraq. I mean, everywhere is the middle of nowhere in Iraq to like start this little fob and just fucking pallets and pallets of expired MREs. Everybody for like 2 weeks is shitting themselves, and our poor doc is like, I think it's the food. Yeah. Everybody stopped eating MREs. And then the moment everybody stopped eating MREs, everybody stopped shitting themselves. So in pure, love them, airborne infantry, paratrooper logic, everybody's like, all right, we just won't eat. so it's just like a bunch of fucking emaciated fucking paratroopers. Okay, let's go trade some fucking boots in the local economy for some food. Yeah. So we ended up just rat fucking MREs and selling the candy and all the Skittles stuff for fucking eggs and falafels. It worked. We figured out how to care for ourselves.
We were up near Baghdad. We were building a bridge up there, and at night we would go on these raid missions with the Marines we were attached to. But during the day, when we weren't building the bridge and whatnot with the CBs, we would allow people to come in and sell us food, the vendors and stuff. Yep. And I'm telling you, some of the best vegetables, some of the best chicken I've ever had, until I realized that I walked behind their little station and that little Haji was cooking the bread on a piece of camel shit. I cannot make this up. And I got so violently ill. But I'll tell you, I'd probably eat it again. It was probably the best food I've ever had.
Yeah. To this day, one of the greatest Thanksgivings that we ever had was at that same shithole little camp that we built. And we scraped together like $25 US, and the interpreters went out. It's just like every stereotypical movie you see, like when they're like, how much money you have in US? Like, we've got 2 nickels. That's enough for a luxury
and a
meal
broken
here.
flashlight.
Yeah. Dude, came back with like
Oh,
75 chickens,
oh yeah,
fucking
yeah.
stacks of bread,
Here's a nickel
best
back. Yeah.
tons
Gee.
of their soda and yeah, and it was amazing. It was amazing. That's a fond memory that I will never forget.
Yes.
Shitting your pants in the middle of nowhere, Iraq, and having a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, like in between. So we drove Hemmets, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
sitting in between those 2 big tires like that. Well, your bad buddies keeping watch as fucking Hodges or, Iraqi kids are coming out of the sand like it's a, episode of like Star Wars or something like that.
Oh, but it's
Yeah.
remarkable, man. We have this lived experience that takes us to these far off places. How did Josh come back and find his way into becoming a successful businessman? How was that journey like?
Yeah, so this is a crazy story. So when I got out of the military, you go through that program called the TAP or
Yeah,
TAP. It's
taps.
called. And I'll be honest with
So
you,
good.
it sucked. It was horrible. And every time you'd ask a question, they'd be like, "Oh, just wait till you get back home. They'll take care of you." I think knowing full well that they were full of shit. And so I came back and I started asking for help, and people were like, "Go to the VA." And back then, I didn't really know the all encompassing term. What is it? Is it your post American Legion VA? Is it your hospital? Is it your state, your county agency? And so I didn't find out until later on in life that there was about a million other of me's out there just kind of wandering aimlessly. And then, you only ask for the help so many times. And then trying to go on Facebook and ask a question with a bunch of other vets is about as useless as you could get because you get 999 answers and 998 of them are wrong or political, or they start teasing you because were in the army and not the navy and the marine corps and this and that. So long story short, so I just stopped looking
Mm,
and start struggling a little bit. I mean, I'm a 22-year-old kid, I think, 23-year-old kid
yeah.
over in Iraq. Uh, you don't process things until later on in life, and then all of a sudden it comes at you. And I think I was just sitting on my couch one day, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that really happened." And so by that time, I'd been out for a little bit, and like I said, asked for the help, and nobody give it to me. So I just stopped looking. And my wife and I moved from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to down near Detroit.
Mm,
And I started working for a county office. And this is kind of my origin story of the path that I'm on now. And so I'm working for a county VA office, and I realized that we were we were misleading our veterans. I don't think it was intentionally, but we would expect the veteran to come to the government to search out their benefits, but we weren't telling those veterans or educating them on where to go to get the benefits, who to speak to. So it's almost like a perfect storm. So I started creating programs built around empowering veterans and their families to be their own best advocate. Little did I know, and I've tried to get out of this space for years. Went to law school. I mean, just it's a very thankless job working in the veteran space, and so I just kept getting pulled back into it, and finally I said, "Fuck it. I'm gonna go all in, and if I'm gonna go all in, I'm gonna change the system from the outside in, because I worked for 15 years for the government, and I wasn't changing shit. I mean, I it just roadblock after roadblock." So that's my origin story. I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I was built for it. I went to law school after the military. GI Bill paid for my law school. Was going to be an attorney, and just kept getting sucked back into this space. So like the military. Yeah.
the reluctant hero. Dude, you you're right. The VA is not a friend and it never every time they change mouthpieces. I'm sorry. I haven't met the current guy, but to be fair and to be honest, like how many times are you going to promise things? How many times are you going to say that there's going to be change? only to continue pushing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's frustrating that we have some VA hospitals and some VA centers that are ran really well, and others that are a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
I've seen and been able to witness with my own eyes, like, holy shit, this is great quality care, and like, all of you should be in jail. Absolutely,
Yeah.
all of you should be
Yeah.
in jail. Like, there's
All of you should
no
be
reason why somebody
prosecuted.
walks in needing a neurological appointment, needing to see somebody about their brain, and you give them like, well, 7, 8 months out, that's the best we can do. What the
Oh, yeah.
fuck? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Because it's, well, you know this well, when the moment you walk into this space and you start working with other veterans and trying to help them, the stories start pouring out. The
Yeah.
issues start coming out, and people keep receipts. People aren't just, it's not word of mouth. People are willing to record and bring out the evidence. And it's like, holy shit. Like, how do we remain optimistic? That's the $1,000,000 question.
And I think it's a great question, and I'll tell you why I think that we can do it collectively, people like me, people like you, like-minded people. I met with Dennis McDonough, the previous, secretary. I met with Doug Collins a couple months ago. I'm optimistic about Doug, more than I was optimistic about Dennis, because I think Dennis was more of an institutional guy. Um, I think that Doug's ready to make those hard decisions that a good leader should make instead of just rolling the can down, the can down the hill. But I'll say this, if you think that the VA is going to fix you, you're just completely wrong. I think that you have to fix yourself before anybody else can fix you. And my wife, quite honestly, she gave me the biggest dose of medicine one time. She looked me in the eyes. This woman is she says she's 5'7", but I think she's really 5'5", and about 105 pounds. And she said, quit being a bitch. Because sorry for myself. And I'm 6'2". Like and I tower over this woman. And I was like, holy shit, you are just completely right. Because I was working for the state of Michigan at that time. They had went through 5 agency directors in 10 years. They could not figure their shit out. And I got so frustrated because my boss was a dumbass and his boss was a dumbass. And it was like reverse Reaganomics, that trickle down effect. And she goes, Josh, if you're going to do it, you have to do it yourself. And that's why I embrace that extreme ownership that Jocko Willink talks about, where, yeah, there's factors in why things don't work. But at the end of the day, as a veteran, you have to take extreme ownership. And if you want to do something about it, do it. Don't just, I tell my brothers this all the time. Don't go on Facebook and bitch about shit. Go out and try to change it. And if you fail, you fail. But at the end of the day, nobody else can tell you that you failed because you didn't try.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, man. I gotta imagine going to law school is incredibly difficult. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of work, a lot of grinding. It's years,
yeah.
but why the fuck would you pivot from that
Tried to go to law
after all that
school
time and effort?
tried to go to law school at 36 years old with 3 kids. Going to school at night, working during the day, and I am an absolute glutton for punishment. And I'll tell you why. I grew up, I couldn't rub 2 fucking nickels together. I mean, I grew up dirt ass poor on an
Yeah.
Indian reservation. Didn't have running
Oh
water.
shit.
Yeah, didn't have running water for the first 4 years of my life. And so I have this weird chip on my shoulder where I am so I can remember in 4th grade, my 4th grade teacher looked at me and, Mr. Spence, if you're watching this, you can go fuck yourself. Because yeah,
I'm gonna
he
find him. I'll send it
we're gonna
directly
find
to
you,
him.
Mr. Spence. I don't know if you're still alive, but yeah, he said you're gonna be nothing but another drunk Indian like your dad.
Oh fuck.
4th grade. And I still never forget that when he said that. And so I just use that as ammo because I don't want anybody to ever be able to say that I'm a loser. And I think, maybe I take it to the extreme a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one that, shapes my own path. So I think that's why I do what I do. So
This episode is brought to you by Titan SARMS. Head on over to titansarms.com and buy a stack today. Use my code CDenny10 to get your first stack. I recommend the Lean Stack too. Start living your best life. Titan SARMS. No junk, no bullshit, just results. Dude, you were in a fight before you even got to fucking Iraq.
yeah, yeah,
Our, there are very few reservations that could be considered well off.
yeah.
Very few, very, very few. Vast majority, the honest truth is living on the res is a straight ticket to a life of extreme adversity.
Yes. Yeah. Domestic violence. I mean, my dad was very physically abusive to my mom, to me, to the point where the tribal police were afraid of him. They wouldn't even answer the calls anymore. So my mom and I had to take it into our own hands. But I mean, I honestly thought for the first 12 years of my life that everybody in the world once a month just went up to this large building and got your food. And I later found out that that was the federal government. It was called commodities. And you would just go and you would get all your canned meat and your canned milk or your powdered milk and your powdered eggs and whatnot. So actually, I actually had a leg up on most other military men because I've been eating canned mystery meat since I was, I their version of MREs on the reservation. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's it's funny because when we when we get in the military, we quickly find other people that have lived the same type of life, and we use humor. Like I know, my shout out to my buddy Greg and Paul, all three of us. Like we grew up pretty rough, and Greg and I would always make jokes about like the poor people meals that we grew up on. Like, like Greg has had such a like the the extreme Hispanic culture that Greg is steeped in, but he's white from Arizona. It's just like, man, like you really know about the struggle meals of like open faced tortilla sandwiches. Like, bro,
oh
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
But it's part of like the culture. I think like a lot of us flock to the military and as a gateway out, as a ticket out of the lived experience that we had as kids, man. Like
Oh
it's
yeah. It was either work at the casino or work at the prison. And I just did not want to do either of those. And I didn't even know back then. The military to me was the best thing I ever did in my life. And it because I didn't have a male role model growing up. My dad wasn't around. So nobody taught me how to, change brakes or change your own oil or, honestly how to be a man. And so you go to basic training and you're either going to make it or you're going to fail out pretty quickly. But you get a hard dose of reality that nobody fucking cares. Either make it or don't. And nobody showed me that my entire life leading up to that. And so I mean, basic training, the military changed my life for the better. I honestly don't know where I would be if I hadn't joined the military.
it gives us that it's dude, it individuals like us that go through something extremely challenging from the get-go have that post-traumatic growth arc of like I'm not gonna be statistic, I'm not gonna fall by the wayside, I'm gonna keep pushing going forward. And even if our friends don't have that experience, they can still learn resilience, they can still develop grit, but we have a great skill set that we can share with others. Like when you are able to share your story and connect with other human beings, you give them insight to what it truly means to be like, oh shit, like this is a whole different world. There's a vast majority of our American populace that don't understand the difficulties that go on in the res, like the problem sets that they face. But when you are able to transcend that, build something, work through it, you give that kid that role model. Like you're able to look back and like share with everybody else that back in that reservation and show them like, dude, you don't have to be a product of this environment. You can push
Yes.
through it, man.
That's it too, that product of your environment, to me, that's just a cop out,
Yeah.
especially if I, I'm a pretty firm believer that there's never not a way to succeed in life. It's
Yeah.
just if you give up or if you have that defeatist mentality, I mean, that's on you. At the end of the day, I I love I love that YouTube video with Jocko Willink where he's like, "Good, your wife left you. Good, you're gonna find somebody better. That bitch probably wasn't for you anyway. No, lost your job. Oh, your boss is a dick. Good, there's something better for you." And so, yeah, I mean, I don't buy into that mentality of oh, woe is me. And I got 4 kids, and most of them, 3 out of the 4, embrace my mentality, but you can tell, you know, the one that needs a little more guiding light, maybe the military, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's important to understand too, like you pray for all these great things to happen in life. Um, you know, we write out what we're grateful for, and it's always the good things. We're grateful for having a roof over our heads. You got to be grateful for the bad.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to take it all in. You got to take it all in because without it, your journey would change. You would change. And that's something that's hard to explain to people. Like, you want me to be grateful for the bad things in my life? My car broke down. I've got negative $2 in my fucking bank account. Yeah,
Yeah.
dog. It's only
Yeah.
like you're in the fight, dog. That's the best place to be. You're gonna
Yeah.
hustle. You're gonna grind. You're gonna fucking work hard to get out of it. Like, build that hunger. And I think a lot of us that came up through the military, we take that for granted. Like, especially when we move into the entrepreneurial endeavors, going to business, go to law school. A lot of people will turn their nose up at having to stay up, or they'll complain about having to submit on time and all this stuff. Or for us, okay, that's a standard. That's what we got to do. Then so be it. I sacrifice and I'll get it done. Have you noticed that you maintain that ability and that sort of work ethic throughout the entirety of your adult life after you left the military?
I did, and I mean, I'll give you a real world example. I mean, I get up, um, I get up probably 6 o'clock every morning. I have a routine. If I get out of my routine, I don't like it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I take my 4-year-old to daycare. I go to the gym, and then I just grind out. I mean, what my wife and I have built, for me, I look at it on paper sometimes. I'm like, Jesus, you're some podunk hillbilly that had nothing. And like, we got the nonprofit, we got the radio show, we got the app that we've nationally scaled, and then starting our own other side hustle, the business and whatnot, the consulting, the public speaking and whatnot. And that's just some random guy that didn't have any guidance growing up. And so i'm I hate when like 501 hits, because I'm not the type of guy that just stops doing stuff. I always got to be thinking about what's my next 3 steps. And
yeah,
it's a blessing and a curse sometimes, but I don't think I would have it any other way.
yeah. It's true, man. It's to some, and especially when I'm trying to talk about like sleep hygiene and taking care of yourself. Like, yes, that you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Is it smart to burn yourself out 7 days out of the week? No, but motherfucker, if I got shit that's due, I'm
Yeah,
staying up to get it done. I will I will constantly sacrifice that rest and recovery. And no, like I said, I got to change it. I got to find a better way to do it. But it's something that it was turned on when we were young, and it's hard to back away, man. It's hard to say, "Hey, I'll turn it in late," or "Hey, it won't just get done today. I'll just." It's like, fuck no, man. Like, that mentality, that dog in you, as they say. Like, it's hard to fucking bring it back into the yard and say, "Hey, just relax for a day." It's like, no, because great things don't get built off taking a day off.
exactly. I'll say this: if Elon Musk can manage 11 companies, and if Donald Trump can, be 198 years old and still, do the shit that he does, I
Yeah,
think I can multitask a few different things.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
and
are the
Elon,
people that I want to look up to.
yeah,
So,
and Elon's got like 17 kids, so I gotta get busy and
oh, I
come
know.
on.
Yeah.
How does he do it?
I had to stop at 4. My wife's like, "Nope, no more." I'm like, "A baker's dozen, it doesn't sound like a bad deal for us." So,
And they can be assistants.
yes, we call them grunts. Yeah, they can be our grunts. So, yeah.
I need you to manage the calendar, and you are checking emails
Yeah.
every 20 minutes.
Dad, I'm 7. But Coach
Dude,
7 roll down that hill.
how'd you get into how did VetLife become a thing?
Yeah, and crazy. So I was working for the state of Michigan, and the state was giving me thousands of dollars every year to do these town hall style meetings. So they said, "All right, go out and flourish, do good things with no guidance." Of course, the government, they're real great at giving people guidance. So I would do these town halls, spend like 3 or 4 grand at each one, and what I realized is I'd get 30 or 40 resource providers at the town hall, same people over and over and over, but I'd only get 3 or 4 veterans. And so
Mm,
that brought me back to that whole taps mentality where if you're pretty much making people go to a designated spot to get access to the resources and benefits on your time, we have to start thinking about helping these veterans on their own time when they're ready to gain access to the benefits. And so we sat down, my wife and my wife has a master's degree in business and marketing. So, she's the brains of the operation. And so I said, I want to start a nonprofit. I just don't know how or what to do. So we started mapping out. There's 45,000 veteran nonprofits in this country. How does VetLife stand out from those other 45,000 nonprofits? So we had a pretty cool idea of doing this free event for not just veterans, but their families called Vet Fest.
oh shit.
Yeah, so we created that event called Vet Fest. It's live bands, it's bounce houses, it's free food, it's prizes, and then on the side, we bring all of the vetted resource providers. So these veterans go there and they're not thinking like I'm some broken toy, and the government needs to fix me. They go there, they have a good time, they have a couple drinks if they want, they listen to some cool bands. And then if they choose to do so, they can go get access to their military benefits. So it empowers them, but also if you're anything like, if your wife's anything like my wife, who's, gently kicking my ass to go get the things that I deserve at the end of the day, you got the family members that are saying, all right, Josh, all right, Denny, here's those benefits. You got to use them. VA will pay for your law school, disability compensation. There's VA home loans. I mean, you're stupid not to use them. Oh, my wife and I just started that event not thinking it would ever take off. And the first year we had about 2,000 people attend.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just us hauling picnic tables and stages and stuff like that. And so now the VA has nationally replicated the event. And so we're
No
we're
way.
helping we were helping like 5, 6, 7,000 people a year through these events. And I said, okay, now let's go bigger. Let's create an app. So I started working to put the pieces of the puzzle together to create this app. So if you go on this app, it's called Battle Buddy. It's on the App Store. It's all the years of my frustration with the government that I put into that app because I said, all right, we just got to make it really simple to get access to your VA home loan. Here's what disability compensation is. Here's your education benefits. And then also, here's your vetted resource providers. So we started that app. We finished that app in I think February this year, and it has about 250,000 downloads on it. So
That's good.
what I
That's freaking
want to do is
solid.
I want to recreate the TAP program to where when veterans are leaving the military, we just preload that app into their smart device, and then wherever they ETS, wherever they leave from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and come back to Maryland or Alaska, that app is going to be there for you 24/7, and you don't have to call the VA. If you're like me, I tried to get telehealth a couple of years ago. Somebody called me within 24 hours, and then what is it, the 22nd of October? So I'm hoping they'll call. It's been about 2.5 years. I think they'll call back and try to schedule that appointment for me. But yeah.
This episode is also brought to you by Precision Wellness Group. Getting your hormones optimized shouldn't be a difficult task, and Dr. Taylor Bosley has changed the game. Head on over to precisionwellnessgroup.com, enroll, and become a patient today.
I mean, imagine the frustration that these men and women go through. Yeah.
Oh, I know personally.
Yeah.
I I got put on hold during crisis.
Yeah.
And that was the first and last time I called. And yeah, I have a really hard time dealing with the VA, but I also have a really hard time dealing with dishonest brokers.
Yeah.
There's a huge market for wanting to solve the veteran crisis.
Yes.
There's a lot of shady people out there that are coming out with all sorts of gadgets, all sorts of things saying like, "Oh, we can react, we can respond nationwide." No, you
Bull
fucking can't.
shit. Yep.
No, you fucking can't. You
Yeah.
don't have the licensure. You don't have the trained professionals in every state, in every city. So for you to get on a platform and tell people that they can pick up the phone through your app and get connected with somebody that will be there physically, you're fucking liars and you're pieces of shit. And you're selling, you're blowing smoke up people's ass.
Oh, snake oil.
It
Yeah.
is. That's the thing that I'm really pissed off about. I'm not going to say their name. They're out there. They will get outed. Everything will come to the light. Everything eventually does. But to say that you are going to pick up a phone and connect somebody to a real provider that will come to their house, or the QRF team that will come to their house, you are complicit in a fucking crime. If somebody gets on that phone and they think that they're getting a real person coming to their aid, you're fucking, I don't know how you're not already in hot water and are already being sued out of your fucking offices. But you will be. More people are getting spun up on your fucking smoke, on all the bullshit. And the thing that we need to be careful with apps is there are resources out there. The thing that I like about Battle Buddy is it's connective tissue to an existing system that's out there.
Yeah.
It's not bullshitting people with fucking snake oil.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there's millions of dollars have been put in for this structure. Whether you like it or not, 998 has helped and saved lives.
Yep.
It works. It fucking works. It's there. That's why everybody promotes it. That's why everybody puts it on their shit, because they know that if somebody's in crisis, they can get a hold of somebody. And I cannot tolerate when people are out, and there's so many of them now. I just saw another one. They're saying like, yeah, our app will connect you to a real, no, dog, no. I know what it takes. If you're going to work with somebody like Charlie Health or BetterHelp and be a provider, you have to get licensed in every single state that online service provider is working in. So you're telling me you're covering the bill for all those different providers, and you have somebody who can respond in every city, in every county? No, you don't.
I take a holistic approach, and I'll tell you what. When I worked for a county VA office, I started something called the Veterans Treatment Court. So VA treatment court says, okay, let's say you get popped with a DUI or drugs or
Yeah.
something, and we can tie that back to your military service as kind of like we call it a negative coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Let's say you can't process shit you saw overseas or deployed or wherever in training, whatever it is, and then you ask for help, you don't get that help. What do you turn to naturally? Drugs, alcohol to
Yep.
numb pain. You go out, you drive, you get a DUI. So instead of just putting you on that regular court track, the VA, the treatment court would pair you up with a veteran mentor. And then that mentor would keep you on track. And then you would go, if you successfully completed the core or the treatment court, they would do called a delayed sentence, where it would pretty
Yeah.
wipe your record clean. And so I said, I'm just sitting there and listening to the judge speak, and she was a great judge. Her husband was a Vietnam veteran sniper, and so she got it. I mean, she lived. She You talked about lived
Yeah.
experiences. That man was waking up at night and still thinking he was deployed and
Yeah.
that. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, 99 times out of 100, a veteran doesn't just wake up one day and say, you know what? I'd really like to kill myself today. I mean, it is a succession of steps that need
Yeah.
to happen where that veteran gets to such a low point in their life where they feel like suicide is just a viable option. What VetLife does, what the Battle Buddy app does, is we're trying to empower you to the point where you never feel alone or desperate. Because if you're going to go out and look for your benefits and nobody calls you back, somebody puts you on hold, somebody says they're going to email you, after a while, you're just like, fuck it. And then these veterans that are committing suicide, I don't really buy into this whole, a lot of these men and women are non VHA connected. I bet you if you really strip back the layers of that onion, you'd find a veteran that tried to become VHA connected,
Yeah.
get the services that they wanted and deserved, and were just turned away. And so I'm not saying I'm going to save every single veteran in the world, but at the very least, if I can just provide a tool for them to be able to be their own best advocates, that's gonna reduce the veteran suicide rate.
Absolutely.
In
And
my
built Yeah, and in my opinion, one of the biggest things is connection. We have a false sense of disconnected from everybody, when in reality, when you open up the aperture and actually look and start paying attention, you got a whole list of people that love you. They're just waiting for you to reach out or for you guys to reconnect. Everybody that I've met, everybody that I've talked to in crisis, they all share the same thing. No one gives a fuck about me. I'm so alone. Like, I have nobody in my corner. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
trust me. I mean, it's hard. It is hard to break through that and let people know, like, no, man, you're not alone. It's just right now it feels like it. That's just one of the things that I've been able to pick out and understand myself, from just reflecting my own journey. Like, we
yeah.
like to think that our suffering encompasses everything and we're so alone and isolated, when in reality it's like you got brothers right there. Like, and there's so many ways for us to connect now. Is there any thought process in maybe developing some way to create a small community, whether it's through Discord or adding a feature in the app?
Yeah, and so that's a great question. And yes. So the problem is, and you hit the nail on the head, when you create something, every single shady human being in this world is gonna come out and try to make money off of your idea. And so I want to be very aware that and I'm going to say something and it's probably going to piss some people off, but I mean, again, it's just my opinion. I feel like sometimes veterans are our own worst enemies. Like
Yeah,
we eat each other. I mean, we do uplift each other to a certain degree, but I mean, we shouldn't be dogging on each other the way that I see on social media, the way that I see, honestly, in the communities as well. I mean, to me, if you served, you served. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit if you were a Navy SEAL or if you were a cook in the military. At the end of the day, we should be supporting each other and lifting each other up. So I want to answer your question. It's really difficult to create a community in a sense. What I found is the most successful way that a community was started was through a gaming community. And it was
yeah,
through this regiment gaming, this Chris Earl.
yeah,
Yeah. And Chris is a Marine Corps veteran. And those men and women pick each other up. I mean, they don't say shit negative about each other whatsoever. So I've been talking with Chris. Chris just blew up recently, with his business and whatnot. But if I could replicate something like that, or just put regiment on the app, I mean,
Yes.
that is to me the way that I would like to go.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I'm working on building out, because with gaming, Discord and gaming, just like Twitch, they go hand in hand. Shit, this whole podcast, this whole thing started with Discord. That's how we used to record and do our podcast, was through Discord. Shout out to you, Craig, my AI bot. Love you, dog. Yeah, it's such a great tool and resource. And what I realized, like, people gather around their computers, whether you like it or not, whether you fucking think it's dumb or not. I could easily, if I haven't been able to get a hold of certain friends, there's a couple. Eric, you're one. I got to reconnect with you. Um,
The fuck, Eric.
Come on, dog.
Come on, man.
What the fuck, man? I know I can get on Discord right now and see
Yeah.
what video game he's played. It's probably Age of Empires. We're I got to get back on that. That's neither here nor there. I'm just saying the technology has advanced. Gaming has become a very important thing for all of us. I just talking to one of my friend Greg the other day, and it's like, I'm 41 years old, and I'm still chasing the high of playing Halo Reach with
Oh,
four of my
yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's just one of the things. And Discord is a great tool that I want to try to plug in, bring it back to my podcast audience, bring it back to people, because it's the community thing. Like, we can tune in, we can talk, we can have these great conversations, but I want to dive deep. If I want to be able to engage with the audience and be able to say, hey, who wants to connect with Josh? Who wants to bring him in and do a, you know, 15, 25 minutes of just ask Josh questions?
Yeah.
We can't do that on, we could go YouTube live, but a lot of people aren't going to tune in. But if we do a Discord thing,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I realized. A lot of people are online. They live in these spaces, and we need to stop shitting on it. We need to also do a better job of ripping each other down, man. Because
Yeah.
that's right. Building a community with veterans comes with a lot of risk.
Yeah. Christ. I mean, yeah, don't get me started. And some of the
Yeah.
best memories I have is with those people. But after you leave, I don't know, life happens. I'll just
Yeah.
say, life happens,
Yes.
and you know, but yeah, we can't, we got to stop tearing each other down. It's
Yeah.
just getting ridiculous.
Well, man, I gotta ask you, man. One of the big things that we always cover is mental health, taking care of ourselves. You know, when we're chasing big dreams, it can become a distraction in itself. You you grew up in an environment that a lot of people don't understand, the hardships, the struggles. How have you navigated going through and dealing with all the things that you carry in that, rucksack?
Yeah. Not well at times. I'll say that. I tend to have something called imposter syndrome sometimes, where I don't believe that I
Welcome to the
deserve.
club.
Yeah, don't believe I deserve to be where I'm at today. And I was spreading myself so thin. And I mean, it's back here. I remember the time, but I hope it never comes back here. I was fishing with my friend um, on the Manistee River. We were catching a steelhead or salmon or something, and all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. It was like a light switch flipped on and off, and I just said, "I don't wanna be here anymore. I don't wanna, I don't know what happened," and I still to this day, but I got in my truck and I drove 2 hours home, and I didn't get out of my bed for about 7 days, and that was when my 9-year-old daughter, she was just a baby, and my
Mm,
wife picked up the slack. I mean, she was an absolute rock star, and I'm fortunate. I actually so I called the VA. They said, "Can't get you in for about 3, 4 months." I called a local provider, and I think she heard the desperation in my voice. Like, if you don't get me in here, I'm probably not gonna be here tomorrow. And she said, "Honey, why don't you come in right now?" And I went in there, and like my blood pressure was like 190 over 110 or whatever it was.
yeah.
She, baby, you gotta calm down. And so they diagnosed me, got me on the right medication, and I still to this day I don't know why I snapped. My wife thinks it's because, like I said, I put so much on my plate, and every time you help another person, you take a little bit of that person with you. And it was to the point where, I mean, we were losing people left and right to suicide. A guy that I knew just had he had a daughter, and he took her to a monster truck in Detroit, a monster truck show. The very next day, he jumped in his truck and he drove out to, I think, Holly, Michigan, sat on a park bench and he shot himself. And those are just like things and things and things, and they compounded. And I'm like, I just tell myself now, I know that I'm not here to save anybody. I'm just hoping that we can help provide tools. So, no, to answer your question, I mean, people, I laugh internally sometimes. They're like, man, you really got your shit together. And I'm like, not really. No, there's some times where I don't think I got my shit together. Uh, but hey, man,
That's life.
it's just brutal honesty, man.
Yeah.
That's the only way I want to live my life anyway moving forward.
But
So,
brother, that's part of the discussion, being vulnerable enough to share and let people know, like, hey man, like, you never know what someone's going through.
yeah,
I'm on this other side of the camera where I can say, like, yeah, I'm struggling with my sleep again. I'm struggling with all these things, but my prayer life is good. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I I'm fortunate enough to have real life tools that now help me understand stress, anxiety, breathing. Like I have all these things and resources that I actively get to teach and coach
yeah,
and promote with other people because guess what? Just like in the military, you don't the best way to learn something and the best way to stay proficient in a task is to teach it.
yeah,
And that doesn't mean that tomorrow I won't struggle. That doesn't mean that in a couple more weeks or something will happen and then I'll be back to a place where I'll have to go back in and check in with a professional and start walking that path again. Life is a journey. Mental health is a journey. You got to take care of yourself. You got
yeah.
to
You got to
carve
stay
out a
on
little
top
bit
of
of
it.
time.
Yeah. Meditation, I'll tell you, meditation for me has changed my life. I mean, my doing those breathing techniques, breathe in, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out, hold it for 4 seconds. I mean, it just
Yeah.
calms right down. So I anybody listening to your podcast, that stuff really does work. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah. It's
So,
out there for a reason, man. It's been successful. And here's the thing. If you're and I always love it because it's always my grunts, it's always my combat guys. It's always our community of like the dudes that have done the worst, not fucking SEAL, fucking sniper, ranger, fucking doing all this shit. I'm like, guess what? You've done breath work. No, I
right.
haven't. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you're a dive guy? Yeah, yeah, I'm a fucking dive guy. Or you're a sniper? Fuck yeah, I'm a sniper. Okay, well, somebody taught you box breathing before. Somebody taught you how to pause, inhale, come up off the gun, come up off glass, and just breathe. If you're struggling today, just fucking box breathe, man. Same
Yeah.
thing as bobbing. Stop panicking. Reach out for help. You're not alone. You're not. We tell ourselves we are. I did it for a really long time. And I know, Josh, you told yourself the same thing. But take a knee, relax, face out, drink water, pull the security halt. Oh, the name of the show. Understand you're not alone. There are real tools out there, and here's one right now. I'll give it to you for free. Check out the Battle Buddy app. Link to it will be in the episode description. I'd really appreciate if you download it, check it out, because the truth is, no matter how much I advocate for it, no matter how much I talk about it, it's your fight. I'm
Yeah.
going to be there. Josh is going to be there. But at the end of the day, I can't get your gun up. You got to do that yourself. You got to do remedial action. Got to do immediate action. You got to get your gun back up, get back in the fight. And one of the best ways to do it is take a little step, download that app. And if you need to, reach out, dial 998, text, talk, connect with somebody, get whatever you're carrying off your chest and just breathe for 5 minutes and then do it again and then do it again. I'm telling you, today, it might be your roughest day. It might be the toughest thing today, but tomorrow it's going to be better. Just take it one day at a time. Josh, I can't thank you enough for being here and for building something that is helping so many people.
And I'm telling you, I want you on the radio show as well. I mean, it is.
Men.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I'll tell you, this is one of the best podcasts I've done in a very, very long time. And I love being, I'm not even sure the right term for it. I love being open about things that are a little taboo with people. So
it's the only way we're gonna friggin' help, man. It's the only way that, I'll tell you, man, none of this knowledge was just given to me by the ether. I went out there and I read Brene Brown, all these books that to us, the warrior culture, the warrior tribe says is lame, stupid, retarded. The greatest healers out there aren't from our community.
right.
You got to open up your horizon, be willing to read some books by Kristen Neff, an amazing author and a person that talks about radical self-compassion. Because pride flees, man. You fail at school, where does your pride go? Right down the drain. You
Yep.
fail at work, or worse, your team sergeant fucking just tells you and rips you a new one that you suck. Been there. That sucks. But what happens when you don't have that pride, that self-pride? You got to have self-compassion. You got to be able to tell yourself, it's going to get better. You're still a good human being. You're still a great individual. Tomorrow's a new day. That's just a freebie. You can take that one today. Go check it out. You know what? I'll put the link to Kristen Neff's book in there. And also check out Brene Brown, great author, great social worker. And 90% of the things that I learned that helped me get better came from her works. And I know it's not sexy. It's not cool. It's not Jocko. It wasn't Goggins that got me out of my pit. It was a little blonde lady talking about taking, a moment to reflect on what I was going through, my suffering, and understand that, dude, you're not alone. You're not alone. Call, reach out, do it again. 850-376-8101. If you're really suffering and you need somebody to talk to, hit me up. I will pick up. I have a little one now, so maybe it's going to be on vibrate late at night, but I will try to pick it up. If you just want to email me, setcallpodcast@gmail.com. Please don't send me nudes to the phone or the email. Please just reach out if you need support.
People are going to start sending nudes now, though.
It already happened.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you all for tuning in. Josh, thank you for being here. But most importantly, please continue to take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you all next time. Till then, take care. Security Halt Podcast is proudly sponsored by Titan SARMS. Head to the episode description and check out Titan SARMS today.